A lot of the principles are the same, like embracing the suck. There's a lot of things that come with like working in an industry that's really not easy, especially being a woman. So, and then just applying it through like everything, just having the discipline to be healthy, have a good like mental state, even if, you know, your surroundings are kind of like falling apart. Yeah, so sure. To this day, still use those like principles as morals, as lessons. Cause it was more of like, I like that you wrote the book where you don't have to be a ranger to relate. It was like you could be anybody as long as you're relating to like these set rules. You know what I mean?
Battle Line Podcast. We have a great show lined up for you this episode. Got Natasha Beck in studio, who you're seeing. We already recorded the interview, but we're doing our intro right now. The first thing I wanted to mention, you guys, before we even get into anything, is I didn't get a chance to mention this on the last podcast, Chris, and I felt bad. As you remember with Vincent Speranza, we were going super long, and I wrote in the notes to say this, but I just didn't get a chance to. I have to thank our listener, Chris Wolf, for making the connection. Yeah. Because Chris Wolf was like, you got to get Vincent Speranza on. You guys talk about getting a World War II veteran on. And yeah, that was an incredible interview.
It was getting guys, and there's less and less World War II veterans out there, and getting somebody from Battle of the Bulge. That is, to me,
incredible.
Being a military guy, of course, you guys being a veteran, that is those guys and the Rangers that stormed Omaha and Utah Beach, you know, Normandy Beach, D-Day. To me, those are my heroes. Just the story you had. The beer run story.
Oh, I mean,
can you imagine? You know what? If I hadn't drank anything and been freezing my butt off and been getting shot at and getting bombed and getting the trees shredded above me, I would drink beer full of a helmet full of beer that had piss and shit in it too. It wouldn't bother me in the least. I'd just drink the shit out of that beer. So that was like the best beer run story I've ever heard. And it was awesome.
He would have gone like 5 hours with us, but at a certain point I had to cut it off. So I didn't get to thank you, Chris. So Chris, if you're listening, thanks so much for making the connection. And I have to thank Edsel Dope from Dope and his publicist Kevin, because I was at the Rise of the Machine tour in New Haven. Amazing bill. It was Static X, Fear Factory. I got the Fear Factory t-shirt on. If you guys are watching on YouTube.
Prepared.
Yeah, Static X, Fear Factory, Dope, Mushroom Head. Amazing bill. And they hooked me up in New Haven. I got a chance to talk to Dino Cazares from Fear Factory, and he sounds like he'd be interested in coming on the show. I've been a huge Fear Factory fan for years. As I said, mentioning this on Instagram, they don't need any help from us selling these shows. Pretty much every show is sold out. But if you're in the area and you can go to a show, go see them. Edsel gave us a great interview. And if you're wondering about like the new lineup of Fear Factory, I can tell you they've never sounded better.
I just was wondering why the hell we got Tasha on. Why aren't we wearing Jigsaw Youth t-shirts?
The hell, I supplied you guys.
I do have a Jigsaw Youth shirt.
I didn't even think about that until you just pulled your jacket down, and now I feel like a total douchebag.
I supplied you guys.
I still wear my Jigsaw Youth shirt.
I just didn't even. All right.
But anyway, guys.
Push-ups later. I owe you push-ups later.
Next time.
I got you.
But before we get to this interview, we do have to talk about our friends at Ned. They have been such a long-time sponsor. We're going to have Rhett on from Ned coming up soon.
Great guy.
Yeah, we're also going to have Navy SEAL Josh, who's part of their brand. So we're looking forward to that. But with over 700 five-star customer reviews, Ned's Mellow Magnesium is an instant hit. Nourish your entire body with Ned's proprietary super blend with 3 forms of chelated magnesium, GABA, L-theanine, and over 70 trace minerals. It propels memory, mood, brain function, stress response, nerve and muscle health, and sleep. And about 75% of Americans are deficient in it. These magnesium supplements are incredible, I will say. Not just for sleep, but like I wake up refreshed. I'm able to do these interviews and like my brain is on. Great for even like workout recovery. I love these magnesium supplements from Ned.
Yeah, all I hear is words, numbers. I just know it works, man.
Yeah.
I don't know all that other shit. Like, does it work? Give it to me. Let me try it. And it works. It helps with recovery. And with me and, still rebuilding this damn knee that I tore up, I need all the recovery and sleep I can get. That's what helps me is the sleep to help rebuild that thing. And Ned, everything that they have provided to us, everything that we've used, the CBD oil, the pain relief balm, it all works. And it's natural. And that's important. It really is, especially at my age. I don't need any other foreign stuff that is bad for me put in my body. Let's use the good stuff. And Ned does it. And all their products are amazing. And Red over there, just a tremendous, tremendous guy with a lot of integrity, which says a lot about the company as well.
100%. And so Ned's Mellow Magnesium is actually available now on Amazon, but you're going to get the best deal through us.
Yeah.
So check it out through us. You'll get the best deal when you go to helloned.com/battleline, or just add the code battleline at checkout. That's HELLONED.com/battleline, helloned.com/battleline. Let's get right into this interview.
From Omaha, Nebraska to New York City, from planet Earth to extraterrestrial life in space, a podcast with no equal, engaged in unconventional warfare through your speakers and headphones. This is a show about embracing the suck, conquering your demons, and finding God in the face of adversity. Chris Tonto Peranto.
Switch is on, motherfucker, I'm gonna shoot you in the face.
Ian Scotto.
You know, Ian and I have been dating for a long time.
You are now tuned into the Battle Line Podcast.
The Switch is on, Battle Line Podcast. Very special guest in studio with me because Chris is in Kansas.
Yes.
Natasha Beck from Jigsaw Youth.
Hell
We've
yeah.
been meaning to do this for a while.
I know. It's been a minute.
Yeah. But we're finally doing it. I want to give you a proper introduction of like what you do in your band.
Sure.
But Chris, as you know, like very big news hit last night as we're recording this on Friday. So I at least have to give you guys an update on this. This is an article from Air Force Times. It's been covered everywhere, but I'm just going to read it. If Chris has any reaction, we'll get into that, and then we'll get into everything else. U.S. launches Syria strikes after contractor killed, 5 troops wounded. U.S. launched retaliatory airstrikes against Iranian-linked sites in eastern Syria Thursday after a suicide drone attack killed a U.S. contractor and wounded 5 troops and another contractor at a U.S. base there. Defense Secretary Lloyd Austin said the airstrikes targeted facilities used by groups affiliated with Iran's Islamic Revolutionary Guard Corps after intelligence officials determined the drone was of Iranian origin, according to a Pentagon statement on Thursday. The attack on the U.S. base occurred around 1:38 p.m. local time at a U.S. coalition maintenance facility near the town of Haska in the country's northeast, the Pentagon said. 2 of the wounded troops received on-site medical treatment, while 3 more troops and the wounded contractor were evacuated to medical facilities in Iraq. Their condition is unclear. U.S. troops remain in Syria as part of the nearly 8-year effort to defeat the Islamic State and prevent the group's resurgence in areas left unsecured more than a decade into the country's civil war. You can read the rest of that, as I said, over at Air Force Times. But yeah, I mean, Chris, you've been in the contracting world for many years, so this is something you're very familiar with.
Yeah, right next to Syria. I've been fighting in Syria since I was in Libya. In fact, that's part of our deal when we were in Libya was to get weapon systems into Syria. And I love how they say we've been fighting the Islamic State in Syria for 8 years. Well, we caused the Islamic State in Syria by trying to overthrow Assad.
Yeah.
So a lot of that shit that we're dealing with there, we with the majority of the stuff that we've done overseas. And hey, I loved what I did. I did. I loved every bit of it. But we caused a lot of that shit. We go mess up people's houses like a big party, and then we leave. And so you guys clean up the mess. So. But getting off of that on the contractor, it comes with the job. I'd say it, but it's part of the territory. You're going to be a contractor, you're going to be in the military, you're going to be in these areas. The chances of you dying, of course, go up exponentially. I think the biggest thing you and I were talking about, though, was a suicide drone. What exactly is a fucking suicide
And then I was Googling to find out because I was asking Chris because we know that the drone...
Never heard of that.
Never heard of that.
Yeah, it explodes, but there's no one on the drone. There's no one killing themselves in the process on their end. So
It's a drone. and all my military and veteran buddies, you know exactly where I'm coming from. It's some lieutenant or some civilian sitting in the Pentagon thinking, how can I get a medal for making up a new fucking word for something that we already have? Well, drone, it crashed. It was sitting up in the air. Well, it was loitering a little bit, which is what drones do anyway. I mean, shit, from Benghazi, we had a drone loitering overhead for us for 5 hours. Oh, and then it goes and blows up. Let's call it a suicide drone, even though is oxymoron. I'm not a very smart man, but is an oxymoron? Is that the right term?
Yeah, I think
that?
so.
Okay, help me out, Tasha. You're the smart one here. You're the one that got.
I don't know if it's an oxymoron, but it definitely doesn't make sense. That's for sure.
Yeah. But
doesn't make sense.
Or it's redundant, I guess.
It just there wasn't a person.
Yeah,
in the drone
but either way, like the more important thing, the fact is like there's still contractors out there. There's still people in so many areas of the Middle East. Some of them, I mean, like Dale Comstock's still a contractor, not in that area necessarily, but like it's interesting when you hear some of these guys are like significantly older than you, and they're still over there fighting the war on terror or fighting as contractors.
You make a decision at that time, and you make a decision, family or and I don't want to say ego, but it is a little bit of an ego. I'm going to say that I didn't have an ego when I did it. I still have an ego. It's part of the job. You kind of have to have a little bit of an ego.
Yeah.
You do, but those guys are still doing it over there, and they're still GRS and ground branch. I'm not giving up any offset guys, so eat shit if you think I am. I'm not. Everybody knows it, but we had GRS and GB over there when I was in. That was part of our rotation. So, that was the only thing I'm wondering myself when I heard contractor in Syria. My first thoughts was, I wonder if I know the guy.
Yeah.
And that's what I'm trying to. And eventually, I'm sure if I did, somebody will eventually reach out to me on a private line and say, hey, man, this is what happened. We lost. And I'm thinking but that's the thing with contracting for the U.S. government. We've got heating and air techs. We got plumber contractor. It could be just, it could be anybody. It doesn't have to be a military contractor that dies in one of these places. We've lost contractors that worked in the dining facility. And that's the danger of the job, but pay is great. And as we were talking about wanting to live, and I was talking about this, Natasha, when she came in, hey, getting to see the world, you're living. Yeah. That's part of the payment. You're
right.
You get to go to Syria. The most amazing thing still, I still remember is driving up and down BIOP in 2004 and seeing a building that had been shot up by 50 cal machine guns and been blown. And every day driving by that thing going, man, who gets to see that every day?
Yeah.
And that's part of the draw of the job. So, God bless the contractor. And they didn't even say, does it designate a gender, or do we not do that anymore on contractors either? I don't want to make sure.
I mean, you would know better than me. Are there generally female contractors in those areas?
No, yeah, there's contract. Actually, even there's female contractors because it could be an intel collection contractor too. I mean, the CIA hires contractors. You don't have to be a staffer. You can be a contractor that worked for the CIA.
Wouldn't you say like 9 times out of 10 though it's going to be a man?
Most I would say, and that's we're not being. Whoever's getting offended out there, be offended.
I don't think anyone is going to be offended by it.
The probability of it being a guy is high.
Exactly. Yeah.
Women contractors.
I would say almost, positive. But anyway, with that, as I said, I want to get to Nastacha, who came in studio, who drove from Staten Island, which I was like, I don't know why you didn't just take the ferry over here.
I'm just over it.
Yeah. So anyway, for those who don't know, Jigsaw Youth, nationally touring band. I got to see you guys play Long Island Amityville Music Hall, which is like a legendary venue.
Hell yeah.
You have a really big tour coming up, though, with Bob Villain in May. U.S. dates, Canada dates. Like, this is huge. Yeah. I think getting into your background, like, before we get into anything that would be, like, interesting to me, and I spoke to you about this when I first met you, is like when I first met Chris was during the 13 Hours time when the book came out and Benghazi was so a part of the news cycle. For you being younger, like I don't think you experienced as much of that being part of the news cycle. So the way we made the connection was you reading The Ranger Way.
Yeah, that was cool. Thank you for that.
So how did that all come about though? What made you pick it up?
So maybe like 2 years ago, I was dating a guy who was going to be a Ranger, and he was at Fort Bragg. I met him in North Carolina. So I didn't really know anything about the whole military life and just like all the things that they go through. And so like dating him, I stayed at Fort Bragg a couple times, and I just like kind of fell in love with it, the discipline. And he was crazy, but he had the ego, but he needed to because he had to get through Ranger school, and which he did. Sure. So I was like really intrigued. And then even though it didn't work out, I was still like, oh, I could apply a lot of these principles, becoming a ranger,
Sure.
fighting for something, having a passion, having a mission, apply it to my life, which I kind of was already doing, but was drawn to it more. So on my first national tour that I got, which was like, I think, November, December of 2021, towards the end of the year, I was reading a lot. And I picked up that book. I was reading a lot of different
Yeah, I can tell you're an
military
avid
books.
reader.
Yeah, I've been slacking a little bit, but for a while I was like burning through them. So that's the one that I picked up because while he was away, I wanted to kind of learn more about what he was going through. That way there could be a connection because I'm a girl from New York. You know, I'm not a guy that's going to fight wars. Like, you know, how are we going to connect? So I was like, let me educate myself. So, and then it just kind of continued through there. So I picked up that and I read 13 Hours and I loved it. And it was because a lot of the principles are the same, like embracing the suck. There's a lot of things that come with like working in an industry that's really not easy, especially being a woman. So, and then just applying it through like everything, just having the discipline to be healthy, have a good like mental state, even if, you know, your surroundings are kind of like falling apart. Yeah. So
Sure.
To this day, still use those like principles as morals, as lessons. Because it was more of like, I like that you wrote the book where you don't have to be a ranger to relate. It was like you could be anybody as long as you're relating to like these set rules. You know what I mean?
Well, I did. That's the whole reason when I did write. There was enough cool guy books out there, and it was like, man, I think people need to realize how much we are screw ups, and what it's just like everybody else. We screw
like
up
we're human.
So much.
Yeah,
it's just how. But what do you do? That's the only difference I tell people between Rangers, SEALs, Delta, whatever else, and civilian population is that it's not that any stronger, any more mentally tough, and it's just that when we fall down, we pick ourselves up.
Right,
and everybody can do that.
Yeah,
and honestly, I that's where I. Where I did see that on your Instagram, like, man, that's cool, and I thought it was because of my face, because it was a pretty good looking picture.
I mean, it might have contributed to also selling the book.
Like, man, that's grimy, looks hardcore. But then what I did is I saw I saw one of your you're doing one of your shows. It was early on. This was about last year, about 8 months. It's been about that long now, 8-9 months.
Yeah,
and honestly, because being at Ranger Battalion, there's a tie in here, folks. There is the Funky Monkey and alternative rock and the Funky Monkey music station out in Seattle. When I was that was huge. We're big Nirvana, big Pearl Jam. I mean, that stuff was brand new.
That's what we are. Like our sound derived from that entire scene. Yeah, it
did. And that's the clip I listened to. I'm like, holy shit, that kind of sounds like Alice in Chains.
Yeah,
like, I like that shit. And that's when I'm like, man, well, you know what? Maybe these kids, I'm saying it it's endearing, Tasha. These kids, maybe there's kids that still know how to play their own instruments, still get music, don't need synthesizer, and don't need auto tune and all this other, and they're actually doing. And that's what was like, man, finally a generation that's coming back to us old farts, what we like. It's funny that I'm calling Pearl Jam and Nirvana old farts.
It's crazy, yeah, because I grew up with that too. But it's true. For a while, like early 2000s up until kind of recently, it was more obviously country and pop. That's what's really taking over the airwaves, and like hip hop. So I wouldn't say that I'm necessarily in like the greatest genre when it comes to wanting to make a career out of it, but I'm working so hard. And now that we're touring this much and things are really starting to pop off since the end of 2021, March 15th, I've been in this band for 8 years. So I've been,
which is wild.
Yeah. We've been,
so
since
did you
we're
start
kids.
in high school?
Yeah, I was like 15, 16. I just turned 25. So, but it's been a long road, but now people are starting to resurface. I don't know how or why, but trends do that. And like I the whole Deftones thing is coming back. People are listening to Korn again. I
was gonna say Smashing Pumpkins reuniting, like that was big.
Yeah.
I mean, all of it. Who doesn't love Nirvana? So now all the younger kids, like when they come to see our show, they don't know, for the most part, who we're influenced by because they're really young.
And you're also touring with bands who sound nothing like you. So
they're in the genre of rock, but different types. Like they're usually either like pop punk or like maybe indie rock or something like that. For the most part, in my opinion, I would say we're pretty authentically like grunge with like elements of punk and stuff like that. But even if I sit down and I try to write something else in my room, like it's always going to come out grunge. It's just where my heart lies. It's what I grew up with, and I just relate the most to it. So it seems to be working out. It seems like we're on, like our trajectory seems to be doing pretty decent right now. So we're just going to keep going at it. And
that's good.
Just take it as far as we can.
Keep grinding.
Yeah, that's really what it's all about.
Now, tell me, because you said you're in high school, you played, and tell us your story from the beginning, because you went to college, right? You graduated with honors. Is that? I mean, you're like a like a closet super genius.
No, definitely not. No, I did well. I did well in school. I wasn't anything crazy, but I was just really passionate when it came to like arts and business and stuff like that. So even if I wasn't doing too hot, my teachers always were like, all right, like it's Stash. But I was going to Notre Dame Academy in Staten Island.
Wow.
Kind of I fell in love with the whole Riot Grrrl movement. I was going through a lot of shit back at home, and I was just a lost teenage kid. I was just angry. I had a lot of resentment.
That's bands like Bikini Kill and all that, right?
Well, yeah. So we're named after Bikini Kill. They had a song called
that.
Jigsaw Youth. Yeah.
I didn't know that. Okay, yeah. I know Bikini Kill, but yeah.
Yeah. So
too, yeah. Wow.
She was like a big part of that whole movement.
Yeah.
Always screaming and ripping her clothes off on stage. She was like anti everything that a girl should have been. You know what I mean? So I was into that because I was going to like a preppy all girls school, and I wasn't, not that I wasn't fitting in. I had a lot of friends, but there was just something about everything that I was just like, I want to kill somebody. So I started playing music, and once I picked it up, I was trying to start a band. Couldn't really find anyone that was going to take it seriously, but I was like super passionate. I had a Tumblr back in the day. I don't even know if you guys know what that is.
Yeah, I remember Tumblr.
Okay. Anonymous. Do you know what it is, Chris?
You're talking about the social media. I see. When I see Tumblr, you're talking about the social media Tumblr or the actual coffee cup. That's a no, the social media.
It's like, it's like kind of like a social media. It's more of like mood boards and aesthetics. It's more for photography. So you don't really, it's not like a lot of pictures of yourself and like friends. It's kind of just following aesthetically pleasing pages.
You have to educate the old guy.
Yeah.
The old guy doesn't
so
get
it's not even really
shit.
in anymore, but it was when I was growing up because you could customize your own. It was cool. So I had an anonymous one, and mine was really just like a lot of stage lighting, production, a lot of bands. It was all bands. And someone, anonymous page messaged me and was like, oh, I like your page. And hers was like a beach thing. Long story short, we could start going back and forth because, it's a random person. I'm 16. I'm a girl. I'm from New York. What's your name? Where are you from? Blah, blah, blah. So it ended up being Maria. So me and her meet.
Which is your singer.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Me and her meet downtown Manhattan. We went to St. Mark's. Because that's it's all like yuppie now. But at one point, it was a lot of like hardcore punks that were like chilling over there. We were hanging out, and literally the day that I met her, and we Skyped beforehand, back when Skype was a thing, and we were like, we are in a band, like, period. This is it. And like, let's fucking do this. And ever since then, we were cracking away, just learning how to become women, learning how to learn our instruments, songwriting. It was a lot, but we grew together. We went through a couple drummers, wasn't really working out. Finally, I went to Wagner College. I met my drummer.
And that's the current drummer? Because I've seen two different drummers
there
right on
three.
Your... Okay, yeah.
Yeah, I met Alex.
Your current drummer's awesome.
She's the best.
I have a funny story from the show, but keep going.
She's the best. She's very to herself, but when she gets up there, she's like murdering her kit, which is a requirement for our music.
Yeah.
So, yeah, we were in marching band together. I hated marching band. Don't even ask me why I was in it. They were giving.
Why were you in it?
They were giving me a scholarship to play music, and I was like, "All right, I'm going to get money off my tuition."
So you were drumming.
I was playing bass.
Oh wow! Okay.
Does that make any sense?
No, I just think of drumming is marching band. So
it is.
Yeah.
Because that's what Alex
and
is
some horns
doing.
And all that. Yeah.
No, of course. I have no fucking clue. They had me play bass, which was a nightmare. I was always getting in trouble. I hated the arrangements. I wasn't wearing the uniform. They were like, "Put the fucking plume on." I was like, "I'm not wearing the fucking plume." So I meet Alex, and I didn't even really know her, but I was like, "Yo, you want to be in my band? And she's like, what kind of music you play? I'm like, grunge, bro. Come on. Like, do you have a kit? You have a house? You have a basement? She's like, yeah. I'm like, practice is at your house this Friday at 8. And once you're in the band, you are never allowed to leave. I literally said that to her. I didn't even like know her name. She was like, all right. And I sent her all the demos. And I said, don't worry if you don't know them all by Friday. Like, you know. And I got there and she knew the songs better than I knew them. So I was like, okay, so you're in the band forever. And then that was it. It was like off to the races for
Was she
years.
tatted up at the time or was
She was not.
Yeah.
Both of the girls, even my merch girl, Jess, she's like a part of the band too because she's always with us. But everyone's tatted but me. I have a couple.
So I'm thinking of Jess then, right? Jess has tattoos
The
over
Deftones sleeve.
Yeah, I think because that's what I was going to tell you. You know what? I'll tell you a funny, quick story that Chris will find funny. I think from the show, I was talking to her about Deftones because Deftones are my favorite band.
Same.
I've probably seen Deftones like 15 times.
Never seen them.
You got to see.
I am at Rockville.
You have to see them headline a show though. I feel like you see them with their audience.
Yeah.
Because anytime I've seen them open, it's just never as good for
Right.
me. But anyway, so at your show at Amityville Music Hall, I'm talking to Jess about Deftones. I'm talking about how I flew to Colorado to go see Deftones and Incubus.
That's who I'm seeing in Rockville.
Yo,
And Tool.
That's an insane one. So
I'd see Incubus out there. I'm sorry, I love Deftones, but Incubus.
I love
they
Incubus.
toured last summer, man. You should have gone.
I saw them in Jersey.
I saw them on Long Island. Chris never goes to shows.
Come on, Chris.
But I saw them at Red Rocks Amphitheater. I flew out to Colorado. So anyway, I'm
Crazy.
talking to Jess about this.
Yeah.
And then all of a sudden, in the corner of my eye, I see some girl whip out her boob and your singer signing. And your singer's like, yeah.
Yeah.
And she's signing some girl's boob. And it's like suddenly I'm 18 again because I'm in the middle of talking to Jess about Deftones. And I'm like, all right, I'm extremely distracted right now. Sorry about this.
That's classic Jigsaw shit. Like, that shit goes down. We have girls. It's always the girls, which is even funnier, and I like that. But they'll come up and they'll be like, Maria, if you draw something on my face, I will go to the tattoo parlor tomorrow and get it tattooed on my face.
Probably not a good idea.
I swear to God they have.
It's insane.
I swear to God. They're getting Jigsaw tattoos. It's a lifestyle. It's a mission. These people are like into it because we're like the underdogs of the scene because we didn't have any management or an agent until literally a couple months ago. I just picked up my managers last month, but we were doing all of this stuff and everybody was like, who you signs with, who's your agent, who you signs with, and we're like, me, nobody, we have nobody. And they're like, how are you doing this? I'm like, this is my life.
And I will say, like, for people outside of New York, they don't realize, like, every borough has their own scene. And that adds to the underdog thing because I would say, like, Long Island has a great scene.
Amazing.
Brooklyn, Queens.
Yeah.
Sort of here
Long
in Manhattan.
Island the most.
Yeah, Long Island has a great scene.
Yeah.
And when I was even talking to you, like, who's big in Staten Island right now? And it's like, personally, I just don't know, you know?
Back, you know, when hardcore was still popping, which it's still it is. It's probably doing better now than it was. But when it was still more of like an underground thing, a lot of those Long Island bands were also in bands with people from Staten Island. So it was cool at a point. And then maybe like 6 years ago, we had a small scene that was coming up and we were doing well. We were doing some like DIY tours up and down the coast. But after a while, you start to weed out like who's doing this because they just want to like do drugs and like drink and who's like, how is this really like their lifeline? You know what I mean? Like for me and the girls, it was more of like a lifeline. It's more than, we never really partied like that. It was more of like, no, this is kind of our coping mechanism with life. This is how I see life. I see everything in color. I see everything in music. So I'm not going to not write just because I'm in an argument with one of the girls, which never happens either. A lot of communication is like the key when it comes to being in a band because you're really in a relationship with them at the end of the day. Like we're all single for a reason. It's like that takes up a lot of our time. It's hard to connect with people that's not their sole purpose. And I feel like we sound a little crazy sometimes, but it was kind of similar to, I kind of pulled it from the book, how you said before, like I had an ego when I was a contractor, you know, you have to be. So for me, sometimes when I explain it to people, it's like, I'm not going to walk down the street and like tell everyone to go fuck themselves. But it's like, I have an ego. I have to have a small God complex to think that I have a product that's better than everything else out there. And I'm going to push hard for that. So you have to, it's kind of like Mike Tyson talks about it all the time.
Yeah.
You know, him and Cuss, like that relationship where it's like.
And I read that book.
Which one? Him and Cuss?
Yes.
Yeah.
Yes.
That was an amazing book. That also changed my perspective on a lot because he had to keep feeding him at a young age. Like, you are a monster. You are the best. You are going to annihilate everybody. You're going to be the king. No one's even going to remember all the icons that came before you because you're going to just blow them out of the water, which essentially did happen. Like, not a lot of people know Sonny Liston. Not a lot of people know.
Yeah.
Like a casual boxing fan that's like not into that, but everybody knows Mike Tyson.
Sure.
So that's kind of where me and the girls relate on like a very intimate level where like that's what we want for ourselves. And a lot of people don't push for that. So that's kind of where they fall off track.
Well, that's the hard work ethic. That's one thing I even just got off your feed is that us old farts, we love hard work. And I even wrote that you got to work hard. You don't quit. I'm a grouchy son of a bitch that looks at 20-year-olds and goes, you do not know a damn thing about work ethic.
Right.
You do not want to, everything's so easy. I'm going to show my ass on social media. I'm going to have 8 million followers. And I'm like, what? But that's one thing that I got from you guys. And I'd like you to expound on that too. And the importance, because every generation we do need more hard work, and that you just have to keep grinding. And sometimes it happens like that, and sometimes it may take forever. But if you keep working hard, something good will come out of it,
right?
And you will succeed, whether it's financially or whether it's emotionally or whether it's both. You know, but that's the thing is that was lost on at least again, maybe not. Again, you guys. Ian, you're still younger than me, so I'm going to say you're still young too. But even Ian works his ass off.
Yeah,
thanks, man.
And that's a great example. So, and you just said it a million times. We just work. We just work. You've said it over and over. The importance of working hard and not giving a shit what people think, but doing the best that you can, and most important, what you think how you're doing, your product that you're putting out there. And that you just don't sit around and hopefully somebody notices you. We're going to get out there and bust our asses, and having the ego, but not having the arrogance. That's where Mike Tyson went off the rails, is when he got arrogant.
Right.
Confident is one thing, ego, and then you cross the line. And then when you make it to that level, which you're going to, what are you going to do to not become arrogant and go off the rails and maintain that humility with ego and confidence?
Hope you guys are enjoying this interview with the great, lovely Natasha Beck in studio from Jigsaw Youth. Before we continue, Fort Scott Munitions is a manufacturer of multi-federal patented solid copper and brass CNC spun ammunition. It's designed to tumble upon impact in soft tissue, leaving devastating wound channels for faster bleed out and quicker incapacitation. This ammunition was originally developed to innovate and improve on the standard of military-grade ammunition design. It was found that not only did the TUI ammo outperform competitors in the self-defense industry, but it quickly became apparent that it would be a top contender for hunters alike. With the ammo being CNC spun, the tolerances are some of the tightest on the market, ensuring they receive the same results with every pull of the trigger. Did you pull out one of the tins? Those tins are awesome.
I wouldn't have a tin.
Oh, I saw you in the background, but yeah.
Oh, no, I'm right here. I'm just, you know me, I just do the interview. I'm holding a 300 blackout the whole time we do an interview. Makes me feel comfortable. It's like my teddy bear. But no, the ammo is fantastic, man. Best ammo on the planet. By far.
And with those tins, you can get them with different ammo. Just a great collectible to have. So check them out. Fort Scott Munitions is available throughout privately owned businesses in every state, or you can go to fsm.com. Use the promo code BattleLine for 15% off your order. Only available to listeners of the Battleline podcast. Fort Scott Munitions is a proud supporter of Chris Peranto, Battleline Tactical, and the Battleline podcast. Once again, guys, fsm.com, promo code BattleLine. Simple as that. And, of course, we have the best night vision sponsor in the game. Man. Now you can have the superpower to see at night in the dark with the Viper Binocular Night Vision System by Photonis Defense. It is the global leader in night vision solutions, providing more high-quality night vision capabilities than anyone. Military, law enforcement, and public safety end users utilize Photonis Defense solutions to give them the edge at night in tactical situations and rescue operations. Hunters, shooters, boaters, and enthusiasts can rely on the Photonis Defense Viper Binocular to become masters of darkness. The new Viper Binocular system carries the same features and benefits as the Photonis Defense Viper Monocular with a ruggedized body and harnesses the power of the Echo Intensifier tubes, giving you sharper images, reduced halo, and industry-leading ultra-fast auto-gating across the range of dynamic operating conditions. The last time I was in Kansas, I saw you do the night vision class.
Yeah.
And even the owner, Ryan Kraft of Fort Scott Munitions, he didn't know anything about Photonis at the time and was using other night vision. And like, he was sold after seeing Phil Otto.
And he got a pair of them. Guys, that stuff, it literally and figuratively is like night and day using it. Honestly, we need to get Jigsaw Youth hooked up. Can you imagine Tasha up there with the 4 bangers up there?
Dude,
badass.
I actually been telling the girls, I'm like, it would be kind of cool to wear like tech gear, like the vest, like the bullet vest. You know what I'm saying? Like, it would be cool. It's a new thing now.
It would,
but the shirts I gave you guys have the
gas mask, right?
Yeah, but it looks like it's wearing like the goggles.
Oh no, we got to get them Photonis. We got to get them hooked up with the pair.
I don't think it's gonna happen because this is a very high priced item, but it's worth it. It's worth it.
No, it is tremendous stuff. It's the best night vision, guys, on the planet by far, and the focus on it. You hear auto gating, but guys, it's the focus, and how detailed you are at night. That's what you need to see, and you need that at night. You need to be able to differentiate friend or foe, and if you can't see, it's hard to do. And the group itself, they have trusted professionals that work there, guys that have served, operators that have. 2 of them I've worked with overseas in Afghanistan. They know what they're doing. Tremendous products, and if you're a hunter, hogs, coyotes, whatever, they're tremendous. And if law enforcement, military guys, let your guys come home at night. Get them the best night vision out there so they come home to their families at night. I mean, that's the importance. So get with Photonis Defense.
And I only mention that it's a higher price point because this is not night vision you're going to get at Cabela's or a store like that.
No, it's mill grade night vision, and that's what you want. Yeah.
Mill grade night vision. So, if you're looking for the best night vision out there, look no further. Visit photonisdefense.com for more information, or look for Photonis Defense product options from your local night vision dealer. It's PHOTONIS defense.com, photonisdefense.com. Let's get back to our interview with Natasha Beck from Jigsaw Youth.
Can you expound on all that? Maybe inspire some of our younger generation. We still need to work hard to succeed.
Right. I say sometimes when I'm in the mood, if the shows are going really great and the chemistry is really great on stage, like I'll just break out into like a small 1 to 2 minute speech because a lot of the people that are coming out to an underground Jigsaw Youth show, odds are you're either a musician, an artist, or you're like kind of misunderstood in some way. Somehow you came to this weird ass spot. So let me just address it. And I tell them, I'm like, listen, if you're an artist or even if you're something else, like if you want to be a firefighter or you have some type of passion, sometimes, like, don't get discouraged if you know somebody else that wants the same thing and it happens overnight for them. Yeah. Sometimes it takes a really long time. I know some of my friends that have been in bands for 2 years and boom, they're touring Europe, they're touring the US. I've been doing this for 8 years. But you know what? I value my longevity of the band. I wouldn't trade anything. I'm only 25. I still have a lot of work to do and a lot more time to do it. But everyone's path is different. You just got to keep going at it because there's a reason. There's a reason for all of that. So, and a lot of times they come up to me after and they're like, I really appreciate that because I'm sure everybody has had it where you're like, how the hell? That person did not work nearly as hard as me. Yet they jumped the freaking ladder. It happens. But I also am like, I'm not really into having like the hit for the week. I'm into having, like, I want to create music where at some point in life kind of like how you turn on like Led Zeppelin, like that. It's timeless.
Yeah.
You could literally turn that on at any given moment to any person, any age, any gender, and everybody will be like, yeah, this shit slaps.
Yeah.
Like, hard. So.
And like the guys we've had on the show who are musicians, like the ones that I grew up around have that same drive. I mean, like the two that come to mind was actually the old Gotham podcast location. I had my friend Jaden Panesso from Siler, and like Siler took off. I was at their first ever show.
Yeah.
And him in particular, I was like, he has this drive for this band to be huge.
Yeah.
Frankie Palmieri from Amur. Like Amur was playing that venue you were, at playing Amityville Music Hall. And then I saw Amur headline Starland Ballroom, like way bigger venue in New Jersey. And like Frank in particular, there's a reason he's the only sole member of that band still in that band, because he was like, under any circumstances, I'm going to see this band succeed. And he's even talked about it, I don't think on the show, but in other things, he's like, I had years of my life where I was living in like a storage facility because I couldn't like afford an apartment around here, but I just needed this band to take off.
Yeah.
And I think like anybody who's been in a band that's taken off, especially as you said, doing music that is not like the most current thing right now.
It's not like the most lucrative genre right now.
Like, if you listen to Amur, they're the heaviest fucking band on the planet. No one would ever think a band like that would have any type of mainstream success. So it was like wild to me to see them headline a venue like Starland Ballroom.
You're taking a leap. You're taking a step where there's a lot of doubt, and you really just have to reflect on yourself and just make sure that you know that you want this. This is your mission. Because there's a lot of times where any person that either they're a really hard band or they're like a weird rap group, or even us, like Maria literally sounds like a guy on the mic. Like she literally is screaming at the top of her lungs. And a lot of times when we were younger, people were like, maybe you should tone it down. Maybe. And I'm like, no, we just have to harness our strengths, and like we're working on it. But every person that's ever like, maybe you should have a backup plan. Maybe you shouldn't. Maybe you should get a degree in something else. Maybe you should. I'm like, no, I know what we have. We're still working on. You have to perfect. You have to work on your craft.
Yeah.
Like no expert in anything is only going to work at something for a little amount of time and then just like boom. It takes a long time.
I hate musicians. I know especially a lot of on the left side of this aisle don't like the comparison, but if you want to be a good shooter, that thing behind me right there, I have to work on that.
Of
still
course.
at 52, I have to go train. And it's the same thing. I'm sure, I can't play guitar. I've tried. I can't play guitar for shit. I don't know why. I just can't get these things to work.
I can't either, actually. I did try it one time.
It's not an easy instrument, but it's... if you have a really great teacher, it's a little different. You know what I mean?
And that's maybe I need to take that up then, get a teacher. But regardless, it's that you have to work at it. You have to practice and practice and practice. And still, you can lose that if you don't keep practicing. So you have to train yourself again every day. And that's why I like you saying that, because it takes that constant work. You mentioned something about you got a manager now.
Yes.
I want to know, but you wanted to stay true. Being not in the music world, but when I had my little feet dabbled in the Hollywood, social media, TV. I had a manager and all that. They did try to change me, and I'm not. And I bet it's even worse in the music world. That they want you, because you're right. Grunge is not the big thing right now. Managers and publicists and agents, they want to make money.
Yeah.
So are they starting to try to push you that way, or do you think they're going to? And if they do you have a plan already in action? Are you like, okay, if they do that, I'm just going to give them the finger and tell them to F off? Or am I going to, and the term is still relevant, are you going to sell out and go what they want you to do to make money?
So as far as my agent goes, because he was the first person that we like hopped on board with, a lot of his roster is Anti-Flag, the Chats, people that he's into that shit.
Yeah,
you know what
rock,
I mean? So he don't want to change nothing. And everybody's believing that we're going to do good because even if the genre seems a little bit weird, when you see us live and you see how people react, and when you put us on a good bill, regardless whether you like rock or not, it's a fun time and everyone's throwing the fuck down. So that's where the money's at. Yeah,
it's old school mosh pit shit. That's you guys. It's like, oh, back when I could actually get in there and not break a hip.
Yeah, exactly. So when you see, because social media now, like at least for me, I look at our band page Instagram, like that's like our resume to the bands that are looking for openers to go out on tour, because we're still the little guys. So we kind of need people to keep taking us, bigger people that have been doing it more, take us under their wing. That way we can start showcasing, which is what we've been doing for the past year and a half. So I guess when they see that we're able to tour, we're not stressing about paying our vendors for like supplies. We just bought a really beautiful van last year to tour with, because these freaking van companies, they want like $4,000 a month to tour. I'm like, I will buy my own and you can all go fuck yourselves. So they see that we have a business knack, we have passion, there is a product that nobody has. Like, we are different. So he don't want to change nothing. Our managers, they're a mom and pop type, well, a pop and pop we call them because they're two guys, but they're like a pop and pop shop. So it's like they don't want to change anything. They're also like the underdogs with us, where they want to root for us and everything. They really, really are passionate. They love our music. So as long as you find, it took a long time, but as long as you have people that come to you that are willing to not take any money from you until you're really like making it, at that believe in your mission, then they don't want to change anything, they just want to keep pushing you and selling you. So we got blessed where one's trying to change us, because we're not with a label right now, which now, because of the internet and all the
changed things so much,
you don't even really need one.
No, because you don't need your music distributed in stores anymore. Like and this shows my age, right? I worked at Tower Records before I worked at Sirius and all that.
Oh, nice.
And you needed your album to be in Tower. Yeah, you needed your album to be in Tower Records. You needed it to be in FYE, Sam Goody, and all. Yeah, everything has changed now. The unfortunate thing is also, like, everybody is streaming now, which I don't. But artists get paid a fraction of a penny for streaming.
It's insane.
And then you go out and do shows, and then venues take a portion of your sales for your merch.
I know.
And they have your hand in your pocket on everything, and it's so hard to be a like lucratively successful band unless you're at that top level. And I will give like maybe the other side to what Chris said of the whole selling out thing. I know you and your band well enough, like, that you guys listen to other types of music. You listen to hip hop. You listen
everything.
So I actually don't think it would ever be selling out if you do another thing that you're passionate about and you're like, I love this song, but this sounds like a hit song for radio. And the example I could think of is like when I had Jay Panessa from Siler in here. They had a song on Monday Night Football called All or Nothing, and it was played on ESPN. Was it anywhere near as heavy as Siler's usual stuff? No, but like, it was a great song. It was a song they believed in. It was definitely a more radio-friendly song. But I don't think anything is wrong with that. I think if you guys like organically put together something and it's still true to what you believe, but you're like, wow, this could appeal to a more broad audience, I don't see anything wrong with that. I mean, example I could think of too is Paul Stanley from Kiss is always asked about like if they sold out from when they were playing these tiny venues to playing Madison Square Garden.
Like, what do you mean? I worked hard and more people want to come to the show.
Yeah, and Paul Stanley is like, if you think my dream in starting Kiss was to play like tiny venues in front of 50 people.
You are sadly mistaken.
Yeah, he's like, no, I wanted to headline Madison Square Garden. So like, I don't think that's selling out as long as it's true to you being you and the band being the band.
I don't see anything wrong with your music connecting to more people than you thought. Like, how could that be negative? More people loving your stuff and connecting to it and having a good time. Like, it's a party. Like, everyone's invited to this fucking party. But I think people confuse selling out with a lot of the times bands just getting older, they're more financially stable, and then like the revolution, like the internal revolution, the rebellion, the fire that they had to write whatever they originally wrote is not the same.
Yes, and I got to jump in on that because So I was talking about working at Tower Records. After I worked at Tower Records, I worked for Fangoria magazine, which was Fangoria
You've
Radio.
been around.
Yeah, I'm old, but so anyway, I worked with Dee Snider for Fangoria Radio, and that Stay Hungry album was massive. That had Chris knows all, like I Want to Rock, and why am I not thinking of We're Not Gonna Take It? Those are the big hits. And they had the song in the Pee-wee's Big Adventure movie too, the Burn in Hell song. And after that, Twisted Sister completely fell off. And Dee Snider will say, like, I went from being so hungry for this band to succeed to being in my house, like, by the pool and my sports car.
Yeah.
And he was like, what am I angry about? I have nothing to be angry about anymore.
Yeah.
And that the band took a total turn for the worse. So you still have to be like passionate about something when writing these songs.
Yeah. I mean, just because you hit a certain level doesn't mean that you don't have to maintain it. After a while, that money's going to run out. That dream might run out. And
it did for him. Yeah.
Yeah, it happens. So that's why a lot of those one-hit wonders, like they pop off, and then all of a sudden it's like they don't have anything. And sometimes that has to do with contracts and who's involved in their team, that they don't want them to outshine over someone else on the roster. There's a lot of dirty shit that goes on, I'm sure.
Yeah.
But I went to Wagner for music business, and I'm not going to say like, oh, I know it all, but I went.
You learned a lot. Yeah.
I learned a lot. And I went there to educate myself because I believed even before we started touring that at some point something was going to break. And I have to know what I'm standing on and how to protect myself. So I'm thankful I have a team that they're not going to take advantage of me. And, I'm from New York. You watch your back at all times, but they're great. And like, they've been in contact with us for like a year and a half because they saw us play. They're one of the bands on their roster that's been popping off right now is Destroy Boys.
Yeah.
They took us under their wing. That was like our first national tour. We were direct support for them. So our first show was in Anaheim, California. They were there. And then when they saw us play, even though we were so nervous, we killed it. It was sold out. That was it. They were like, what the fuck was that? And ever since then, they've been kind of chiming in, like keeping in the loop of what we were doing and where we were going and stuff. And then finally, like they pulled the trigger and they were like, let's do this, because why not? Like, we're hardworking. We show up on time. On time.
That's what you get for driving to New York City.
Today, it happens. We have our bad days. No sure.
I could have sworn he said 12:30. I'm over here. I'm like strutting it. I'm like Gotham Studios. No, yeah. So it's been. Yeah, I lost track because I'm thinking about how I was late. But.
No, and it probably is because you know what it is? I think we were originally doing Zoom, and Chris and I will do like a 30-minute intro. So I think I then should. But no, you're good. But anyway, no, you're talking about how your management discovered you and are keeping you in the loop.
Yeah, just like they see that the drive is not running out anytime soon. You know what I mean? We're young, we're healthy, we're hungry, and that's just what it is. Alex is a math teacher. So she's been juggling that a lot, got her master's and everything. But me and Maria have been working like tons of just part-time jobs constantly because we need the flexibility to get out. Does it suck? Yeah. Have I taken like a pay cut in the past since I started touring so that I can have the flexibility? Sure. Trying to get my mortgage license right now so I could do it remote on the road and everything. So we're not going to just like do all this with no money in our pocket. Like we have a game plan going on.
Yeah.
So
that's awesome. On it. That's a great example. That's just a great example of how to live. I mean, sometimes you got to work 4 jobs. It's just shit happens. You got to make ends meet, and
you got to do it.
And you're getting your mortgage license. You're fucking smart.
I'm trying.
and is it Alex a math teacher?
She's a math teacher. High school math.
Do you see and the musicians that Ian's introduced me to, or the ones that I've met in friends, all y'all have this. Are all y'all just super, super, super smart, intelligent, and music is just, I don't know. Is that a smart? You don't have to be smart what I did. You just have to be able to.
No, you do though.
You have to. All right, you have to be able to listen. You have to be able to think quickly.
Scaling and those houses and making those decisions, clearing those rooms. That's a formula.
There is a formula.
I would bust at the seams.
There's also just like a weird stress thing though, because Chris and I have seen this. Well, I've seen it like in particular that there's guys
I would bust at the seams.
Yeah, I was saying, but this is why it's weird to me because you've seen it, I think, Chris. Like, there's been guys who have been on the show who have done some of the most heroic stuff in combat, and they get nervous to do an interview on a podcast, which is crazy to me, right? Because, like, to me, I just guess partially I've been doing this for so long. This is nothing. But if I was in Chris's scenario, I couldn't. That's not for me.
Well, so. I guess you have to think a lot of those guys, they're with the same group of guys. They're like brothers, and you're not really talking to a lot of people. Am I wrong? Right? I feel like some guys aren't good with.
I think it's still the ego comes in a little. I've never did because and you know if you've seen the movie 13, I've read that you have. The guy Pablo, that's spot on. I never gave a shit of what anybody thought about me. And that's the biggest thing. And I think, I don't know, can you attest to this as well? Get up on stage. I don't give a shit when I go speak, you don't like me, fine. I'm going to talk. I'm going to say what I want to say. Don't give a shit. If you judge me, I don't care. But I think a lot of my peers that get into it, they get up there and they're just like everybody else when you feel like you're being judged. What's he thinking of me? As you know, how's he looking at me? Can I uphold this stigma, or can I uphold this what people think about me of what I did? And it's just like anybody else. They get nervous because they start, the ego kicks in. They start thinking of themselves.
Yeah.
And I guess I think I get them, that goes into you guys getting up on stage. I don't see that. That's one of the things I drew to you guys as well, is these guys don't give a shit. They just get up there and play. And I think that's adds to the success, because you take that one less burden, that element of being nervous, it's gone. So now you can just do your job. And that impressed me as well, because I have watched not as many bands as Ian has, but I've seen a few here and there. And you can just tell when a band is really tight up on stage and they suck. And you can tell where bands just get up and they're just loose and they just kill it. So I guess I think it's a good segue into that. You know, is that something that you guys had to work on, or did that just come natural? It sounded like it just came natural for you, especially being the bass in the marching band. But
oh God, the nightmare.
But what was that like with everybody else? And has that always been that way, or did you guys? It's something you had to work on, or you had to teach others? Say, hey guys, loosen the fuck up.
It's a little bit of both. I mean, getting up in front of people. We always get nervous. I can't really tell at this point if it's like nervousness or just adrenaline.
Just adrenaline, yeah.
Because I'll do like literally 50 push-ups like right then and there, right before we go, and I'm like roiding out on stage. I'm like, let's go.
Not that you take actual roids.
No, no, but the girls make fun of me. They're like, you got to stop working out your arms. You have to stop. No, it's definitely something you have to work on, just like anything else. Alex is very quiet, but she's behind the kit, so I think that's a good barrier for her.
Yeah.
Because it's not like she has a mic. She doesn't have to talk. Me and Maria, or Maria and I, sorry. You're the smart one. It's like, I'm really not. Maria and I are basically both of the front women.
Yeah, because you do some vocals too. Yeah.
Yeah. And if she's having an off day, I'll have to start the banter. If I'm a little bit off that day, she'll be the one carrying it. Or sometimes we're just both on fire and we're like literally having a comedy show on stage. But it's definitely something that we work on. Like, we'll literally sit at rehearsal and we're like, we have to work on our fluidity and our banter because even if it's easy when the crowd is going wild to have good banter and to just fuck around because we're all one. It's a different story when the crowd is not really moving as much, or you know what I mean? Like,
and how do you get them into what you're doing? Because they a lot of times, right, they're there to see the headliner.
Right.
I mean, we've had Jimmy Allen from Puddle of Mud on the show.
No way.
And great guy.
Jimmy's a great guy. Jimmy's awesome guy. He comes and shoots. He comes down to the range. Jimmy's great.
I literally love Puddle.
I love Puddle. So he does the theme music for our show is Jimmy Allen from Puddle of Mud. So Jimmy wasn't performing with them on the Come Clean tour. He was out of the band by then, but he wrote every Puddle of Mud big hit was co-written by him. But anyway, I saw Puddle of Mud open for Deftones and Godsmack way back. It was like 2001. And I literally remember Wes Scantlin saying to the crowd, he goes, "You guys look so cool sitting down." Because they were new. No one was into them. And it's like, if you have a crowd there, they want to see Godsmack, they want to see Deftones. It's like, how do you get them into your band? And there are nights even if you have a great set, you're just not going to go over. I've seen it before.
It depends. Like, for the most part, I think, which is why a lot of upcoming bands take us on the road is because they see that we really turn that crowd around. Like if they come in quiet, we're like, boom, like just it's gonna get fucking loud. Everyone loosen up. You're at a rock show. And like they do. Like they'll go from standing still to being at a mosh pit. I would say that's like 85% of the time. There's like a small percentage where
of course
they're just like not, and usually it's like if they're older, because they don't, if you're right, he's like me. If you're playing to a crowd that's like over 30 for the most part, I don't blame them. They're not going to start throwing fists.
As Jamie Jasta from Hatebreed says, the impress me,
yes,
bro.
Yes.
Arms folded.
And a lot of the time, because we've played a couple tours where that was the demographic, like that was the audience, and they did like us. But it's hard to feed off of this energy when you want to see young teenagers, early 20s, like ripping each other's freaking hair out in the mosh pit. So we kind of have two routes. Either we'll get up, we'll feel it out, and then we'll just start naturally talking and stuff like that. If we see that it's like kind of we'll say things. We're very demanding. Like, move over here, move over there, let's go, get in there. Like, we really are, and I don't even realize it, but people are like, Jigsaw Youth is very aggressive to the audience, but if they're not really responding, like, we'll just blow through the set.
Yeah.
But it not like, oh, we want to get off. We're just like, hey, listen, less bantering, more songs we're going to play.
Sure.
You know what I mean? So we kind of do that. We'll like feel it out.
Have you ever had any scary incidents? Anybody jump on stage, attack? I said, you got guns, you probably jacked them in the face when they did. But was there anything that's happened that you saw that you had to deal with as far as defend yourself, or anybody that just got too crazy? And just started...
I have to say, I mean, people will come up and they'll definitely like accidentally ransack the set if we're playing like a college show, and I'll just give them the boot.
And also like a part of that whole like small venue feel is like if someone's a huge fan, it is grabbing the microphone and singing the
Come
words.
on up.
Yeah.
Come on up. I feel more comfortable like that. So I like the whole stage barricade thing sometimes if it's like a really big show, because then I feel like they're just so excited. They're like spilling over the barricade. But I do like when they can come up on stage and jump off. And I invite that. Like, I like that energy. Because even if there's a barricade, like, odds are I'm jumping over it. And then I'm like crowd surfing during like the headliner, which I've totally done.
Yeah.
Like, I don't even, sometimes I look back at the video, I'm like, I don't even know how I cleared that gap. It was like so big. Just mindlessly.
Yeah.
Yeah, I definitely invite the chaos. I feel more comfortable in chaos. It's so weird. What is that about? People are like the singer-songwriters that go up and they're by themselves and they're like playing their acoustic guitar, like the ukulele, and like, and I'm like, oh my God, I would literally fall apart. Like, I need people to just be like, I feel so much more comfortable.
Crazy.
I don't know.
So there won't be like a Jigsaw Youth acoustic show? Because I just saw...
I definitely will.
You know what I just saw here in the city last week? I saw Newfound Glory, and Newfound Glory shows are usually...
Are you kidding?
I love them. I've seen them. But Newfound Glory shows are usually wild, and this was the first acoustic tour they ever did.
Okay.
And it was definitely a very different feel seeing Newfound Glory play a theater with seating and acoustic guitars.
I like that stuff too.
Yeah.
Go ahead, Chris.
Yellow Card. And I don't. They're still playing. I didn't know that.
Yeah, they are. And actually, the guitarist from Yellow Card was like the second guitarist in NFG for a while. But so you would be open to doing that at some point.
The whole '90s MTV Unplugged stuff.
Oh yeah,
that's all me. I would only do it if it was like that, where it was like the lights, the candles, the rugs, and we have more people. Like, it wouldn't just be the three of us. I would probably invite more percussion people. Like, I would probably invite more guitar players and stuff to really bring out all the pieces that I hear in my head. Because I told the girls, I'm like, at some point we'll put out like an acoustic record of all the songs that we already have out. Because if you change the key a little bit, by like a half step or something, it sounds awesome. And like, we're all it's very dark. So it would sound like an Alice in Chains MTV Unplugged thing. Why would I not want to do that, Yeah. But like how Deftones did the acoustic stuff in Hawaii. Just like not even in a theater, just out on the rocks, out with their boys. I would do that.
It's so weird how that DVD, and I have it on DVD, it sounds awesome. And you've watched the whole DVD?
I don't know if I've seen the whole thing. I mean, I've watched the whole set. I don't know. Is there more?
Yeah, they sound great. But Steph, the whole time, the guitarist for Deftones, he's like, yeah, I hate this. He's like, I hate toning down our songs that rock to play like an acoustic guitar. But they sound awesome, but he has always liked the band to be way heavier than they.
Of course.
He's always been the guy, like the same way we had John Dolmayan from System of a Down say some things on the show that probably the whole band is pissed at. He's the guy in Deftones who always puts his foot in his mouth. Because like when they put out the Gore album, he literally did interviews where he was like, I don't like this album. I don't think it's good. Like, this band is not the band I wanted to be a part of.
Yeah.
And I was like, wow, that makes me like not excited for this album. And quite honestly,
I know.
Don't think it's a great album. Just my opinion. But
it happens. Like I said, sometimes the fire and the drive to write certain things, like the rebellion inside you is not as hot anymore, because how can you complain when you're traveling and you're in a new city and you're financially stable and you're meeting all these people?
It for him, though. I think
for some people it's not that.
He likes to play heavy stuff. He listens to like Meshuggah and Morbid Angel and all that. And when Deftones tones it down, he's just like, what, you know? But anyway, I don't know. I love most of
some
their
people
catalog.
It doesn't affect. Like me personally, I don't see myself veering off. I would probably be influenced by other things and adding more things to it. Like, for example, my favorite band is the Red Hot Chili Peppers. So you can compare their first few records to later on when they put Californication out. Totally different. But that drive was still clearly there. Like, that has to be, aside from Blood Sugar, because that's also my favorite record by them, but something about Californication that was so different, still had elements of themselves, but still super unique, and also helped out with them commercially, because I think there's like half that record was hits.
Yes.
What, six or
I think it was like 6, because it was Around the World, Scar Tissue, Californication, Parallel Universe.
And that's with that record, even though it wasn't as hard, I was still in Iraq and Afghanistan before going out. You could still get motivated.
100%.
That was the weirdest thing. It's like, man, this is supposed to be chilling, and I don't feel like chilling right now. I feel like going and shooting somebody in the face.
No, literally.
But you know, finishing with, and not finishing the interview, but you know, you're going on tour, and you said something that was awesome. It's just, and I love that mentality, because that's the mentality that I used to have, and it's good that it's not, I don't need it anymore. I don't want it, but the mentality of just, you know, whether we're doing well, whether we're getting paid, we're still getting to see all these places. You know, isn't that payment for part of, I mean, maybe we're not making a ton of money, but
I'm not making shit.
But isn't that part of the payment right there? And I don't think a lot of people forget that. I'm getting to go. You get to go and hang out in Canada and put gravy on your fries. I still don't know why they do that. It's gross. But you're 25 and you're getting to experience that. That is something to me that is extremely valuable, and payment in its own. I know. Do you feel the same way, or am I way off base?
No, of course. I'm hungry for life. Like, I'm hungry for life. I want to be stimulated with new things. I am not cut out for the 9 to 5 and just that's it. Just get a house, have kids. Like, no, I'm shooting for the stars. Like, I really am. And whether I make it there or not it's whatever. Like, the journey getting there. You know, when I'm older, I'm going to look back and be like, I drove between New York and California so many times with my best friends in great weather. We saw the canyons of Utah, the mountains of Colorado, the beaches of Cali. Like, we're going down around and we haven't even been to Europe yet. We haven't been to Canada yet. Like, there's so much more that's going to be unfolding as long as we believe, like, in the mission, and we're like super passionate that it's just going to come. I'm not even worried about it. I'm really not. I never was.
Yeah.
I could see that there was like a small time frame right before where we were all kind of getting antsy, and I could see with the girls, they were like not getting discouraged, but getting a little bit like, oh my God, like, what the fuck? Like, how much longer? And I just remember saying, I'm like, just trust me. Like, just trust me. All we need is that one break. We're tight. We have the ideas. We have the songs. I just need one person, one band to take us out. And that's where Destroy Boys came in. Because ever since then, the offers started rolling through, which doesn't always mean that they're going to keep rolling through. It's, staying relevant. But how could they not when we're still moving? It's not like I'm just sitting home and I'm not writing anything and not like making up a game plan and, you know, trying to figure out how can we like raise more funds to do what we do. Right now, we're not making anything. Like we started,
and that's most bands. Yeah.
Yeah, it is what it is. Like we opened up our company last January because I'm like, let's just start getting some capital funds to start really doing this real deal without laying it out ourselves. Like, no point. And it really helped us out. So it's like we're breaking even, which is better than a lot of bands right now. But a lot of money is coming in, but a lot of money is going out. It's not like this is like a cheap industry. You know, you want to record one song, you better have a couple grand in your pocket on top of touring. Like, we probably spend an average of like 10 grand just going on tour. Yeah. So you better make sure you have enough money to like have food and get to the hotel and stuff, which we're all right. But you know what? We're comfortable with just like, we're just keeping the wheels greased. You know what I mean? So, and that's what we're doing every
experience in life. And that's the most important. I remember 25 is when I joined the Army.
Yeah.
I graduated college and I'm like, shit, all right, well, let's go enlist in the Army. I don't know what else to do. And and that was the biggest thing. Yeah. So when you are 32 like me, you can sit on your porch and be like, shit, man, holy shit.
Yeah. Like, look what I've done.
Wow, this is awesome. I get to think about it. And the rest is just gravy. I mean, I still am going to live another 50 years. I'm going to, but it's like everything else now is just gravy. It's like, bank account's full. And figuratively, I mean, bank account's full. Sometimes it is, sometimes it's not. But the bank account inside is full.
Yes.
Now, one thing, would you ever consider doing a USO tour, doing something like that, going on USO, or is that something that's I don't know how that works. All I ever used to see is when the bands would come over. And, you know, with USO tours, it usually was, you know, it was Five Finger Death Punch. It was Godsmack. It was when they come and play, like when we were overseas in bases.
Of course, I told my agent. I told him I want to play. Like
Oh, you guys would kill it.
He goes, you know what? I didn't even think about that. Like, I think I could definitely make that work.
Oh, and cool. I just huge exposure.
Yes,
you're coming. You're going to be coming with I know it's a headliner, or you're coming with the.
Is that what they call them? The USO, like the base?
USO. They're called USO. Yeah.
Oh, okay. I didn't realize that. Yeah, no, that was one of the first, because we were talking about how to target different markets and how to work on all of that. And I was like, we would definitely be down to play just some Army guys. But, yeah.
And it is the very diverse Army guy. The crew. And that thing is, they come and play, bands would come and play, and then we'd get comedians like Dave Attell, people that don't even believe in the war. They don't care. They just, George Lopez, who hates the war.
Yeah.
But he comes, and
whether you believe in, whether you want to fight the war or not, like the guys, like you have to do it for the guys. You know what I mean?
Yeah, I mean they don't make decisions of like where we are. Yeah,
like
Chris has spoken about
you got to just do it for them. You know?
Yeah, and it's so motivational. I mean, you just have no idea after a show, if you get a chance to even see it. It's like you just feel normal.
Yeah, you have to bring a little bit of that when you're living in so. Like the abnormal conditions, like high stress. I can't. I don't know how you guys do it. I really don't.
You'd love it. But you'd do a USO tour, be like, shit, I got to do another one. You get home.
Of course. I'm down.
Yeah. Awesome.
So I was going to say to the audience, definitely check out some shows on the tour with Bob Villain, which you could go to Jigsaw Youth Band on Instagram and Twitter at Jigsaw Youth Band. And then also like pick up a shirt, pick up anything, because as I was saying earlier, like, I don't know, people I think who aren't that heavily into the music industry think they're playing something on Spotify and somehow you guys are getting paid, and it's nothing. Like the way that Phil Labonte from All That Remains we've had on put it, he's like, I make enough through Spotify to have like a Spotify premium account. Like that's about it. And he's in a band that has hits, you know? Yeah. So if you're in a more underground band, like you are not seeing anything. So pick up something. And you even told me at your show that I didn't even know that you could do this. You told me that you press vinyls personally for people, right? Where you say where you tell me you can give a message to them on the vinyl.
That's with a record company in Brooklyn called Least of All Records. They'll do it like they'll invite bands, or you could book, but for the most part they invite bands to do a limited run of whatever they want to do. They'll do 25. And And then when we go to the studio, it's direct to vinyl, so it's live. We have to play the song 25 times. And whoever the order is, the guy in the booth will be like, this is for Chris and Ian. They ordered it. They're from yada, yada. And then they'll be like, okay, you're rolling. And then we're like, hey, Chris and Ian, thanks so much. This song is called whatever. And then boom, like you had, so if we fuck
that's
up,
like an amazing collector's item to have.
Yeah. Oh no, they sell out in like 3 minutes because
that's
it's
awesome.
Like, and then you could stay there and do more, but after you play the song like 30 times, the girls are kind of like, let's fucking get out of here.
Yeah.
But we do it to promote it. Let's just say we have a song that's like ready to drop in 2 weeks and no one knows yet. We'll be like, hey, we're doing a limited edition unreleased song live. Boom, everyone's gonna buy it, they get it, and then they put it on. Whether we fuck up or not, the little imperfections, the human shit is on there, and it does sound awesome. It's a small little vinyl, and then boom, like 2 weeks later, you can listen to the actual thing on Spotify for anyone who like couldn't get a copy of like the unreleased one.
Oh wow!
So that's kind of how we pull that off.
Yeah.
That
so
is
point
awesome.
being, I mean, like limited edition stuff like that, shirts, anything, and if you really want to support a band, go out, see them on tour, do all that stuff. Once again, it's at Jigsaw Youth Band on Instagram and Twitter, and then Natasha's stuff is at Nastacha X Beck on Instagram, at Nastacha Beck on Twitter, Nastacha X Beck on Instagram, but then just Natasha Beck on Twitter. But I'll also have in the notes here where people could follow you guys.
Hell yeah.
Unless you have anything else. I mean, this has been awesome and I think like really eye-opening for people to get some insight into like what goes into being a touring band and like what passion you have.
Yeah.
You have to be able to like pursue this. So
of course. No, I'm thankful that you guys had me on.
Oh,
I'm a big fan.
Thank you.
I love all the books. Like it's really cool because this was all just from me picking up a book and I'm really being into it. And it's just crazy how life works.
Yes.
This is a perk of that.
Oh,
you know?
yeah.
And it is. And to think that I'd be like, man, young whippersnappers like yourself, all old as shit. And actually seeing somebody, I hated young music. I was like, rap sucks now. Man, come on, MC Breed, you don't handle the MC Breed and LA Posse. You can't even, there's nothing like that out there. And then to see yours and like, holy shit.
You know what? I'll always say this though to Chris though, and I do always have to combat this because I think you'll agree. It's just that the good stuff that's out now, you're probably a lot of it you're not going to hear even on Sirius XM. Like you have to dig for it. There's a lot of great stuff out there though. Like if you go to a local show here in parts of New York or other great places that have scenes, like there are still amazing bands out there.
Well, that's what sucks though, is that the good stuff, people that actually are talented, they don't get the place. And that's what pisses me off more than anything. Yeah. But you're right. Because of Ian, I will dig more now.
Now that I'm aware, there's certain components to contribute to that. This band's good, but do they have good recordings? Okay, this band's good, but do they have an agent? Do they have a manager?
Like, do they have the image?
They don't care.
Do they?
Yeah.
Like you guys have an image.
Yeah. That's why I've been sticking so hard with the three girls. Like love guys, whatever. I can't have them in the band because for marketing reasons, for selling the whole thing, like it wouldn't work. But that a lot of those bands aren't gonna pop off because an agent will look at them and be like, well, do they have a manager? No. And I'll get back to them in a couple years. And then a manager will look at them and go, do they have an agent? No. I'll get back to them. And it's just a matter of who the fuck is gonna pull this trigger first. That's how that was working for us. Because we had a couple agents even giving us tours and stuff that weren't even our actual agent. They were just trying to see how we were gonna do. How did the other bands like us? Once these things started like actually coming together, now you got on the Spotify playlist, which is like the new thing now.
And big ones, like I saw you guys did a show with Bayside and you were on like Bayside are legends in New York.
They were oh my God, they were so nice. That whole lineup was all New York guys.
That's cool.
I've never seen that many people backstage before. It was like 100 people. They knew everybody and everyone was so cool. And I didn't even realize that like we had so many mutuals. They made us feel so comfortable because a lot of people are like, older white male. And I'm just like, they're older white guys that are really nice. You know what I mean? Like they're experts at their craft. The crowd was going crazy and just felt nice being on the side of the stage. Like, you know what I mean? Working hard. They work hard.
Yeah.
Well, you guys are kicking ass, and
Thank you.
And, you keep doing what you're doing, keep pressing forward, and to me, you're a success already. But don't take my word for it, because then you're going to lose that drive.
I haven't even scratched the surface. I really haven't.
You got that drive. You got to make it to at least 52. That's the cutoff.
Right.
That's when the drive can end. But you're doing awesome.
Thank you.
Tasha.
No, I appreciate it.
And you guys are always welcome. Like I said, Ian, I'll get you. If you're in the studio, we love doing the studio stuff. You're always welcome on the show. You got something to promote, let us know, and we'll at least get it.
We'll do it again.
Out there for you.
Yeah. So thanks as always, guys. I'm looking into the camera here. Leave us a review on Apple Podcasts. We haven't been getting enough reviews on Apple Podcasts, so do that. Leave us a comment on YouTube, like, subscribe, all that stuff that you hear a million times. And also the Etsy shop, the Battle Line Podcast Vault, battlelinepodcast.etsy.com. Still pins available, and hopefully we'll add some more to that. And I'll throw this out once again. I'll probably mention in the intro, the show is going to be going up Tuesday from now on, because I'm going to be working full-time at Newsmax as a booking producer, so I'm going to be pretty busy. But we're still doing this. We're keeping this going, so cool.
Oh, you said Newsmax. We're going to get shadow banned even more. Son of a bitch.
Oh, my God.
And my Lord. Can't be fair to everybody, right? Keep working hard, though, Ian. You're doing awesome, buddy.
That's all for this episode of the Battle Line Podcast. But we'll be back on Monday with more American Straight Talk. Until then, be sure to follow us on Instagram at Battleline Podcast and on Twitter at Battleline Pod. To sign up for future Battleline tactical courses, go to www.christantoparanto.net. Believe in yourself, face all challenges head on, and as always, never quit.